Hey, Austinites, did you know that plastic bags and styrofoam cannot be recycled in your blue cart or dumpster? And they can damage recycling equipment, injure workers, and end up in landfills. Now, the good news is that there are easy ways to recycle these items correctly right here in Austin. And recycling the right way just means the material will be used again and won't end up in landfills. Visit austintexas.gov/recycling or download the Austin Recycle app to learn more and connect to your local recycling options. Today on CityCast Austin, City Council is finalizing their Surveillance Technology Act after Austinites pushed back against having cameras at parks. But cameras were helpful in investigating the West 6th Street shooting. And we know right now we're all under careful watch during South by Southwest. So the question is, how much surveillance is too much? And how do we know when it's gotten out of hand? It's Monday, March 16th. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hello, I am here with Mackenzie Ryan, digital rights attorney and board member of Electronic Frontier Foundation Austin. What's up, Mackenzie? Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nikki, for having me.
Okay, so we're going to dive in. Austin city officials are finalizing language in a recently passed ordinance that City Council calls the Trust Act, which stands for Transparent and Responsible Use of Technology. It attempts to spell out how the city wants to use surveillance technology. So my question is there such thing as transparent surveillance technology? Is that a thing that we can achieve? And also, how unique is this legislation?
Yeah, so two questions there. The first one is a very fair one, which is, can there be transparency? Can there be transparency with a company like Flock? And the answer is kind of yes. But when you're dealing with a company that fundamentally has no problem engaging in extremely deceptive practices, kind of no on a practical level. This legislation, I don't believe, tries to set out to solve the issue of surveillance. What it does is just, in my estimation, try to provide a minimum baseline for the things we should already be implementing at the city council level. So I got involved in city politics around a year ago when we first got the contract removed with Flock from the city of Austin. And I was shocked to learn that city council members didn't have access to the contract language, and oftentimes only had access to contract language 24 hours before they voted on it.
Right.
And I thought that's beyond ridiculous. And so I think this both sets a ground floor in that regard, giving both the public and city council members time to review these contracts. I think it tries to set out some really good safeguards for these contracts, including information like the data collected, how long is it going to be held, who is it going to be shared by. It requires an annual surveillance report. It requires that to be updated. It requires oversight. There are some weaknesses with this bill. I think the enforcement mechanisms, i.e. how we can hold these companies accountable if they do violate this contract, are a good start, but I'd like to see them be more concrete, particularly because I'm sure people are not surprised to know that large companies don't really care about fines when it's a drop in the bucket for them. So I'd like to see that spelled out more. There is an emergency exigent circumstances part of this contract that allows them to install technology in the event of an emergency, but I think the overall period is still too long. So I think it's close, but it's not quite there. But the reason that I think this proposed act has gone through so many iterations, to your second question, it is novel.
Yeah.
There are some cities that have done this across the U.S., but not many. This bill seeks to be a sort of playbook or guide for other cities on how to get this accountability, because across the country, these companies have come in and sold city council members and the people in these cities a very, very nice idea. Pay us a few $1 million and we will solve crime for you. Whoa, who wouldn't say
So
yes?
easy. So
So
easy.
easy. You don't have to worry about
Gosh.
education. You don't have to worry about
None of
access
that.
to social resources. You don't know. Just install these cameras and it'll work.
Speaking of crime, so this Trust Act comes after City Council decided not to expand a pilot program that put surveillance in city parks. And there was a huge public outcry about the cameras, but some people did comment that the cameras are helpful in reducing crime, especially in park and residential areas. Do they solve crimes, or is that working? Or is this just a carrot being dangled to make people feel better about being watched all the time?
Definitely a carrot. I think there's also a big difference between feeling safe and actually being more safe.
Yes.
LiveView Technologies, which is the company that was going to install these cameras, they have their own study that they tout around at the city council meetings that they did. They examined a few parks in Austin. We should always be skeptical of studies that are funded by the companies that would benefit from a specific result of the study, but also like China is one of the most surveilled countries in the world. The city of London put in something like 980,000 CCTV cameras all across the city. Yes,
Wow.
it is one of the most heavily surveilled cities in the world. And Nikki,
Wow.
I'm sure you're shocked. They didn't solve crime. They didn't solve it.
So weird. So weird.
Yeah.
So
So
weird.
yeah, the crime angle is the angle they used to sell.
Yeah.
Because people, I mean, I myself have had my car stolen in a really dramatic way. In Corpus Christi, my house was on fire, and then someone stole my car from in front of my house. So,
What?
yeah, truly a Lemony Snicket series of
I mean,
unfortunate
opportunistic.
events.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, also my dogs were in the car. If the police would have come to me and said, "We have this fancy camera that'll find your dogs in your car," I would have been like, "Get on it, use whatever you have in your
Immediately.
arsenal." But
Yeah.
it's just the data's not there. So the crime is the nice story that they sell so that they can get their infrastructure up and then install the parts that actually make the money, which is taking your data and selling it and sharing it to both the government agencies like ICE or the federal government and other capacities, or the highest bidder, data brokers.
Yeah.
They also test these things. They test new things like facial surveillance. There are now drone capabilities that from hundreds and hundreds of feet up in the sky can, by your gait, the way you walk, identify you. And they're like continually testing these things. The safety angle is not where they make their money. I mean, these cameras are all across the country. Every single major city has cameras like Flock and AI-powered surveillance, and they haven't solved it.
You know what I think is interesting is the dissonance. It's like I think that people, when they really cling to the crime angle, they're thinking they're watching others so that they can catch others doing bad things. There's not an understanding of like, no, they're watching all. It's for all of us, not just those of us that are doing crime or harm. You also have to take into consideration, and maybe it seems like an okay allowance. Like people are keeping track of us all the time. Not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it's like it's happening all the time. And so these things feel like, and also we're going to watch you here, and we're also going to watch you here.
There have been some headlines. They've used Flock to track women that have been seeking abortions.
Yep.
They've installed them outside of abortion clinics. They've installed them outside of areas of political activism. Areas of dissent. How can they pick out the people you think are so bad without also looking at everybody to figure out that this person is this person that you want to prevent from doing harm? And I think harm and crime is an important distinction.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things that are being
Yes.
categorized as crime that are not harmful. And the punitive justice system that we have is incentivized to criminalize activities that those in power don't want to see happen.
Anti-surveillance tech mentality, it's really growing. Back in June, Austin City Council canceled its contract with the company Flock. It was for the automatic license plate readers. Who is Flock? What is the story that led up to that? And how did they lose that contract?
Who is Flock? That's a big question.
I mean, elevator pitch Flock.
Yeah. Okay. Flock is a massive, massive company worth billions and billions of dollars that have been working very concertedly to implement their cameras all across the country There's a gray area in the law currently when it comes to Fourth Amendment right protections against searches and seizures in the digital context. They can bypass a lot of warrant requirements because the Supreme Court has not given us essentially any guidance on what's supposed to happen.
There's been no update.
Yeah, and these companies know that. And they know that their pitch of public safety is one that city councils are constantly trying to solve. And so they're operating very quickly. In Evanston, Illinois, they voted to take the flock contract down. Flock cameras reappeared. City council didn't know where they came from. Who put them up? Yes.
What?
The city council had to put black trash bags. Yes, they had to put black trash bags over these cameras because Flock came and put them up without their permission. Something else I want to point out is that it's not just city contract or government contracts that get this implemented. They sell this to HOAs. They sell this to big box retailers. Lowe's and Home Depot regularly send their Flock data to ICE. And so even if, well, this gets to what happened in Austin recently, even if they lose these government contracts, it is made to be a network. They can tap into these HOA private cameras and get this information anyway, and the police can have access to it. It's opt out, not opt in. And so they have this mass network of private and public cameras that they can access anywhere, anytime across the country for whatever purpose they see fit.
And so they lost this contract in Austin. Who was involved in killing it? Because I think that at the time I was like, yes, the people, we shot it down. We said no and it didn't happen. And sure, that might be true, but yes, and right, there are a lot of other things that happened. Who was involved in killing the contract? And also tell us about Louis Rossman and his followers called the Clippies.
The Clippies, yeah. Okay. So the coalition here in Austin called No ALPRs was the primary force responsible for killing this contract last June.
Nice.
It is a coalition of about 31 public interest organizations, including DSA, Workers' Defense, Grassroots, basically anyone involved in this kind of work, even tangential to public interest and surveillance. They were involved. And after we'd gotten this contract revolved, I had independently become friends with Louis through EFF Austin and some other work. He's sort of a digital rights activist as well. And I told him about the surveillance work, and he said, tell me more about that. So we kept keeping track of sort of city council agendas, and that's when we saw this live view contract up on the agenda in September, which would put them in parks. He was very mobilized to get this contract killed. And so he made a call and said, anybody who cares about this in Austin, show up. Let's talk about it. He made that call to action. They pulled the agenda item a couple days before, after people have taken off work, people have come from Houston, people have come from all kinds of areas. And so we said, fuck it, show up anyway. And so we showed up. We signed up for agenda items that were not the live view agenda items, and we talked. But listen, Nikki, we followed the rules. You can talk about the agenda item and also connect it to other things you are concerned about.
Absolutely can. You absolutely can.
And so we did that. And we staged a little demonstration outside where I interviewed some folks about why they came out. Most of these people had never been involved in politics before. They didn't know these cameras were here. And it was a community that came together. Fast forward, live view was back on the agenda. No one knew. No announcement. We were on it. I don't know. I guess they didn't assume that we would be looking at it, but no ALPRs went up there again and said, hey, we already told you we don't want this. We're in a budget crisis. Back. This is $2 million. That has not been proven to solve anything. And a lot of people have no idea that this is happening. And getting this physical infrastructure up is the hardest battle. Getting them to sign this initial contract is the hardest battle. After they have it up, they can push whatever software update they want.
Spring is upon us here in Austin, and you never know what the weather is going to be like. But the one thing I do know is that whatever the conditions, my Doer jeans will keep me comfortable. The fabric is high quality, and Doer uses these Cool Max fibers that help regulate your temperature so you won't get too hot. These pants are versatile and professional looking, so I know I can wear them running around downtown for all of South by Southwest, whether I'm watching a panel, taking in a screening of a new movie, or hearing amazing live music. Doer's performance denim are the only jeans you need for work, for lounging at home, or on the go. I know you're going to love Doer as much as I do, and it's time you get your own pair. So check out shopdoer.com/CC Austin, and you'll get 15% off of your first order. That's shopduer.com/CC Austin.
Hey y'all, so by now you've heard me go on and on about Window Nation. You know about the 1,500 styles and colors you can choose from, the 50-point inspection of every window before it leaves the factory, and you know they've installed over 3 million windows across the country. But there's something that you might not know, or if you do, I want to remind you. Window Nation is the official window replacement partner of the Austin FC, and the 2026 season has started. So maybe you're looking to get some merch or maybe go to a game. Well, Window Nation has you covered. They have a way for you to score an Austin FC jersey, game day tickets, or maybe even a VIP experience. Now, if over 45,000 five-star reviews, a lifetime warranty on all their windows, or possible Austin FC swag isn't enough, right now you can also get up to 50% off all window styles. You already know what I'm going to say. Head on over to windownation.com to schedule a fast, free estimate now. That's windownation.com. Hey y'all, did you know that parking tickets are now $50? It's definitely changed how often I'm willing to roll the dice while parking downtown. And if you're like me and you want to spend more time exploring our bustling city, like maybe shopping in the 2nd Street District or enjoying a meal on West 6th, or honestly just taking a stroll down Congress, you should check this out. Now, there's a program going on right now through April 30th that has me getting out into the heart of our city a little bit more. If you shop at 35 select businesses downtown, you can get 2 hours of free validated parking in select garages. And these vouchers are valid all day, Sunday through Thursday, and until 4 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. So go visit downtownaustin.com to learn more. To your point, now, although the Austin contract was canceled, it's now being reported that Austin police is using flock data
in Sunset Valley.
Yeah. That other neighboring departments are collecting. And the Texas Department of Public Safety has installed flock cameras on Austin roads.
Yes.
So like literally what you just explained in Evanston, maybe not exactly the same, but
yes,
they're installed and now they're here. So how does that sit with you and other people, you know, that are working to do the same things that you're doing? Because now it's like, okay, well, we're using flock data somewhere. We put it somewhere.
Right. The feature of the system is not to keep data local. It's to be able to share it however, whenever, easily. And it's like APD getting data from Sunset Valley, a neighboring jurisdiction. That is the playbook. This happens in every city. If your city doesn't have it, you can call the next city and have them run their shit through spatial surveillance or have them give you access.
Wow.
The data not being secure is a feature, not a bug. That's how they sell it. If you can't get it, we'll have the DPS at the state level install it. We'll have private companies install it. We'll have individuals install it on their house thinking it's safe. We'll have Ring enter contracts with us to give them their data. We'll have Palantir and everything they're involved with. It's a vast network. It's a cancer, truly. You can spot treat it like we did with the flock contract in Austin. But until people come together and really have something to say about surveillance in general, both private and public, and what we can do with it, and warrant requirements, and when and how this can be shared with police and other agencies, it will not end.
And here's the thing, like technology is progressing quicker than we can keep up. Like to your point, like cancer is a really great way to describe it, honestly, in my opinion. It's just spreading. It's progressing at this rapid rate. And right now it seems like we can't keep up. So there's no oversight. You mentioned this earlier. There are no guardrails. And so is regulation possible?
Hard yes.
Hard yes. Okay, so I want to know, what does that regulation look like? What do those guardrails and those oversights look like?
So unfortunately, there is no like one clear, nice answer I can give you. Like a lot of
Yeah,
this is multifaceted. Part of it
sure.
is simply creating more friction at the city level. Having
Yeah.
something in place that says we can look at the contract early. You have to have this in the contract. You have to do this. This is what happens if you break this contract. That's the other thing I learned. Third-party contracts in Austin and other cities have no enforcement mechanisms. And when I say no enforcement mechanisms, I mean none.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. So part of it is creating that friction in the contracting process. Part of that is the legal side. We need the Supreme Court and we need other courts to actually give us guidance on what warrant requirements are in this area and how they should operate, and when and how police can use this information in an investigation, when and how they can access it. Another part is addressing the immense technological capabilities of these cameras, the vast amount of data.
Yeah.
It is being held in a third-party cloud. One thing you could do is keep the data local. Why are we contracting this out to a third party? Sensitive information. Who you talk to, where you work, what political party you're a part of, things you've said in the past, where your kids go to school, where you frequent, where demonstrations are happening, what political dissent there is. Really sensitive information. Why are we allowing this to be contracted out to a third party? And then the last part of it is the most important, however, the most difficult, which is education. People don't know these cameras are up. People don't know what exactly it means when we say privacy. What is that? Is it me being able to turn off a feature on my phone so that they don't know what my height is? Is it something deeper than that? And addressing what we lose when we're surveilled all the time. Everybody has this intuitive, icky feeling. You know, there's a reason I have curtains in my house, and I don't want people to look in, even though I'm just making dinner. I don't want everybody in the neighborhood to know that I'm in my kitchen making dinner at that time.
Oh, Mackenzie, that's such a good metaphor.
Yeah, and that's always what I tell people, right? Like, they're not just surveying criminals, they have to survey everybody. And they don't make money off of criminals who then go to jail or are somehow otherwise marginalized and they can't collect as much data on them. They make money off of everyday people being in front of these cameras all the time, every day, going about their daily life. So yeah, friction at the city level, addressing this at the legal level at a higher level, getting education, getting people to understand what the hell these do, and then taking a stance on privacy, what it is, when do we want to protect it, how do we want to protect it, and how do we want to codify that in the law?
I always like to end interviews with the question of how we can get involved. But you just said friction at the city level, and I really, really love that. City council is where you need to be. You need to be showing up to these meetings. You need to be talking about things. You need to be, it's, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I'm sure people are tired of hearing me talk about it. I like friction at a city level.
City council is where all of these contracts are happening, by the way.
Yes.
These contracts are happening at the city level.
Yes.
They are not really happening. They're happening at the state level, at a broader level, but your day-to-day surveillance with these cameras is happening at the city level because that is where these companies can come in most quickly, get all their stuff installed, and then later the federal government will catch up when they figure out what they want to do. But yeah, it's at the city level.
Does the Trust Act give you a little more confidence in our city council? Does it make you feel like maybe they're trying to do the right thing? Or does it feel like, you know, they got caught with their hands in the cookie jar and they're like, no, wait,
Yeah, right. No, I have to shout out Mike Siegel, District 7. He is on it. From day one, we came to him with these surveillance issues, and he was like, what can we do? He spoke out against the flock contract. He's repeatedly talked about surveillance as something that needs drastic oversight in this area. That's why he drafted this ordinance. He reached out to activists and educators and academics about how to make this better. So it gives me a lot of hope for Mike Siegel and a couple other city council members in particular. But in this in particular, yeah, it is quite encouraging. Austin has been an outlier. We are the largest city to have ended a flock contract in the United States.
Nice.
And we are starting this sort of novel act that other cities can eventually follow. So it does give me a lot of hope. And this truly is, another thing that gives me hope is that we are so polar opposites when it comes to politics, right? It's become this tribal thing. Are you on my team or are you not? And based on that, you are worse than the worst and we cannot work on anything. There is like real, true bipartisan effort.
It should
that
be a
they
connector. There should be a connector.
Yes,
yeah.
and it has been. So that also makes me hopeful for things at the city level and even at the state level. There's a lot of I don't know the politics of people on this podcast, but I'm more on the left, and there is a lot of tension. But in this area, in the sort of more conservative side of things, they have been pro-privacy. Say what you want about the right, they have been pro-privacy. The libertarian streak that runs through the Republican Party is like lock and step with us. Major libertarian organizations have been on our side fighting this surveillance in the exact same way.
Man.
So I encourage people to come together, make friends.
Fascinating.
Make friends.
If I am someone that is not up to speed, and aside from making friction at the city level, and I just want to dip my toe into this, I just want to find out more. I want to see where I can get my foot into the door. Where is a good place to start for Austinites that just want to educate themselves or want to get involved?
Yeah. So I would recommend the education angle first.
Nice.
You can go to, there have been a ton of videos on YouTube now. Ben Jordan, BENN Jordan, has done some videos on these flock cameras in particular. Louis Rossman, who you mentioned earlier, is doing some good work. The coalition I'm a part of, No ALPRs, has a social media presence. They're focused on Austin in particular. They focus on not just surveillance cameras, but things like data centers and anything adjacent, and funding mass surveillance. If you search, if you search flock breaking the law, flock no permits, it will come up. It is not hard to find. They have pissed a million people off. But I also want to emphasize the problem is not Flock. Flock is one company. They have a bunch of different names. Right. They all make money the same way. If it's not Flock, tomorrow will be another company with a nice new pitch. They'll clean their act up a little bit. They won't show their ass as much as Flock has.
Yeah.
And they are the same. They make money the exact same way. So yeah, no LPRs, Louis Rossman's work, Ben Jordan's work, and everyone else that's been talking about. 404 Media is a news outlet that has been really on this. They've done a lot of great work. Yeah.
Mackenzie, this has been dope. Thank you for taking the time to chat about this. I will tell you what, I am always a fan of someone that comes in like 10 toes down, ready to go, passionate to talk about this. I am going to be thinking about opening the curtains and I'm going to be thinking about that metaphor for the rest of the day. Thank you for taking the time to come and talk about this. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, Nikki. I talk about this all day, every day. It is truly it is happening so fast, so quickly, and it is so scary. And I hope everybody can educate themselves a little bit about it, because it's scary. And this is the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, man. All right. Till next time, because we absolutely have to have you back on. That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. You can find links to Mackenzie's work in our show notes. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you tell your friends, rate our show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our CityCast Austin newsletter. And if you really love CityCast Austin and you love to know what's going on and you love to have conversations like this, support us. Become a neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.